If you've got in your workshop the latest table saw from Evolution, the TBL, in today's video I'm going to show you the most cost effective, the quickest way you can transform the existing throat plate to a zero clearance plate. Tell you what, there is no simpler way of doing this. And on top of it, most importantly, it works great and you can make several of these in no time to make sure you cover all the curves of the blades you may have to your disposal. And that's on materials that are usually very hard to cut and are prone to tear out. In this case, you will have perfect cuts each time. Now, Evolution does actually offer a zero clearance plate for the new tables of the TBLX. However, on many occasions, it's just out of stock or in some countries not available at all. For example, like in mine. Therefore, I decided to make this quick, easy and simple upgrade to my existing plate. And the material I'm going to be using is 5mm plywood. So let's cut it to the right size first. As you are working with the table saw, make sure it's disconnected from power as we are going to be very near to the blade. So how long should our plywood strip be? Well, to be fair, in my case, I'm going to go with 250mm, okay? I don't need the piece to be overtaking where the riving knife is. Most important is the surrounding area of the blade itself. That needs to be covered. And that means we are avoiding a safety risk when trying to cut a slot for the riving knife, as it's just basically not needed. So I'm marking my plywood at 250mm. However, where it comes to the width, I need this to be at 36mm. Then I'm going to use my miter saw to cut out the strip. And there you have it. That was pretty simple, and that's what we are going for. However, at this stage, we do have our piece below the level of our plate, and what we need to do is to take off the thickness of that plate from the sides of our plywood. That will enable us to have our strip to be perfectly flush with the plate itself, and to do that the best way is to use a router. And to measure the thickness of this plate, well, just use calipers. We'll see what we've got, and we do have 2mm. And the way the strip is positioned, it leans on the lock itself and on this cutout for the finger. Okay, so that's the correct position for our strip. At the end, we do have the space for the riving knife. And in that position, I'm going to flip it upside down, and I'm going to use my pencil to mark up the edges of where we actually need to use our router. So we need to remove 2mm from the sides. And the router bit I'm going to be using, well, is just a normal straight bit, 18mm. Now this step is very important. We need to make sure that we are only taking off that 2mm mark. If you're going to take too much, well, we're going to have that piece of plywood sticking above the metal plate. If you're going to take too little, then our piece of plywood will be sitting just below the level surface of the metal plate. Now, I would do a couple of trials. You know, just grab yourself a few pieces, few strips like these, and just make sure to dial in that amount. And definitely a digital gauge like this one from Trent really does the job. You can really dial in your router bits to the desired level. And there you go, that's what we need to achieve. And check this out, we've got nice, good friction fit on this. You need to make sure that our plywood piece is nice and flush with the metal plate. And yeah, simple as that. And in no time you can make 5 or 6 of them, and when they do get damaged, just change them for another one. Super simple. It takes virtually few minutes to make. So now you may think to yourself, well, how do you actually mount this? My suggestion is to use a very good double-sided tape. I've got this thin tape from 3M, absolutely brilliant tape, and I think this will hold absolutely fine, and I shouldn't have any issues at all. Apply a bit of pressure, make sure it sticks to your piece really well. And now we can add our zero clearance piece to the metal plate. And that is it. However, if you don't trust your tape, what you can also do, you can simply add a dab of hot glue in a few places. Don't go too mad. Usually those double-sided tapes will hold very well. And best of all, the hot glue and the double-sided tape will be fairly easy to remove from the metal plate as well. Before we can use the plate, what we have to do is to remove the riving knife. In my case, I actually made this myself, but you can get a short riving knife from Evolution as well, or actually watch my video on how I made this, and you can make this yourself for pennies. Now, if you have been using a 5mm plywood like I did, you're not gonna have any issues with the blade not going deep enough. This is the lowest it will go, and our plate with our new insert goes on beautifully, okay? No issues at all. We can lock it in place, and now what we need to do is to turn on the machine and get our blade up through the plate itself. From a safety perspective, put the fence over the plate just like so. It will just add additional level of security. And there is one more suggestion I may add. We are using plywood, so the blade may actually rip off the fibers from the plywood, as my router did just a little bit. So you can put something on top of it, okay? A piece of MDF or scrap material, and just hold it in place. This will make sure that the fibers will not get chewed up too much. And of course, before you actually do this, before you make the cut, make sure the blade is at 90 degrees, okay? So you make a nice, fine, straight cut. So let's have a look at what results we've got. And check that out. Beautiful line and a fantastic zero clearance blade. Right, I'm gonna install my riving knife, and we're gonna do some test cuts to see how it all performs. You don't have to worry about making some really dodgy cuts when it comes to the riving knife, as the way we designed this, it fits on absolutely perfectly. How cool is that? Absolutely perfect, zero clearance plate, no gaps, so simple to make and so simple to install as well. And you know what? You can put pressure on it. It's not going to fall off as long as you've got a decent double-sided tape and maybe a dab of hot glue. The plate is not going to go anywhere, and you're going to have absolutely perfect results. And the best material to test our new zero clearance plate, yes, it's laminated chipboard and melamine board, will definitely show us the results of our little project. So this is the top, as you would expect. The cut is absolutely perfect. However, on the underneath side is absolutely perfect as well, and that's thanks to our clearance plate. Same thing, that's the top on our main board, no chip out, and on the other side, absolutely perfect, no chip out whatsoever. And that's one of the reasons you definitely want to have a zero clearance plate on your table saw. Now, by far, this is the most simple zero clearance plate I have ever made. and it's not only simple to make, it's simple to mount, and it's simple to replace as well. On top of it, it costs absolutely pennies. But hey, this method should not only work for the Evolution table saw, but every other table saw that does come with a metal, nice and sturdy plate. Now, I hope this quick video was informative and helpful. If you are interested in the table saw I already do have several videos on it, and I'm going to link them down below in the description of this video. And if you are thinking about purchasing your first or maybe upgrading your table saw, this will not break the bank and it's a very good high quality. On top of it, I do have a discount code for this table saw or any other tools on the Evolution website. You can get up to 10% off from your shopping. Details on that in the description of this video. Now at this point, I just wanted to say a massive thank you to my Patreons for the ongoing support. And before you go, check out these two playlists, plenty of great videos already there. So click on them and maybe I'll see you on my next video. Till then, take care.